So what do when you find yourself at that awkward area coming into the green of at about 40, 50, 60 so metres? Do you know exactly what to do? A lot of people don't. And what I'm going to do today is give you a really simple, easy way to work out how to judge those distances coming into the green, what clubs to use, give you a sort of a really simplified plan, a grid that you can refer to. You can even print it off and stick it on your golf bag. And so then you'll know exactly what to do around that awkward mid-range pitching area coming into the green. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with 3 golf clubs. All your wedges, your pitching, your sand and your lob. Now a lot of people may have a gap wedge as well, in which case then slot that one in as well, so you'll have 4. But for simplification's sake, we're going to just do the 3 because I think that's what most people have. If you don't even have the lob, you just got the pitching and the sand, then you can start with those as well. And what we're going to do is do 3 different lengths of swing per club, and we're going to write those down on a piece of paper, the different distances that those different clubs go. So let me explain what I mean. I'm going to just start off with the pitching wedge, and all I'm going to do is start off with a half swing. Now half swing is left arm around about parallel to the ground. Now before we get to that point, I should probably talk a little bit about your setup. So when you're using a half swing or anything less than a full swing, your setup should include 2 things. Leaning a little bit on your forward foot, that's left for right-handers, and gripping down a little bit more. So that just gives you a bit more control over the shot. With these short shots, we don't tend to want distance, we want control. When you grip up, you get distance. When you grip down, you get control. So with a half swing, think halfway down. That's just an easy way to remember it. So that's our setup position, weight left, gripping down a little bit. Now, when we're going with our pitching wedge, we're going to go halfway back. Now what you can do to make it really simple is just use then a full follow through on all your shots. This is a Phil Mickelsons tip. He used to use different length backswings with a full length follow through, and I quite like that. The reason I like that is because it encourages you to accelerate through the shot, which is so important on all your short shots. As soon as you sort of decelerate, get slow coming in, baby it, you get a little bit wristy, that's when the shot goes wrong. So let's do a half swing but with a full follow through. That's our starting point. Halfway back, full follow through. Then you're going to move to a 3/4 backswing, and all that is just slightly further up than the half swing, and again full follow through. And then finish it off with your full backswing, full follow through with a pitching wedge. You'll end up with 3 different distances there. Now I will put up some samples of what I think will be the average for a lady and the average for a man, but a half swing on a pitching wedge, it's going to vary a fair bit depending on how far you hit the ball. It can be anything from sort of 30 or 40 metres up to 70 or 80 metres for a half swing on a pitching wedge. So that's a pretty big variation. So what you need to know is how far you hit a half swing with a pitching wedge, and you're going to write that down. Then you're going to do the same with the 3/4 and the same with the full. So then once you've got your 3 distances on your pitching wedge, you can do the same with the sand wedge and the lob wedge, and you can write it all down, and you'll end up with your grid that's got your different distances with the clubs across the top and the distances down the side. And then at any given distance, you'll know exactly what club to pull out and exactly what length swing to use on that club. So out of your 3 clubs, you're going to end up with 9 distances: a half, 3/4 and full on the pitching, a half, 3/4 and full on the sand, and half, 3/4 and full on the lob. Now just a proviso on the lob wedge with a full swing. I would be very, very careful, unless you're quite a low handicapper, on using a full swing on a lob wedge. There's an awful lot of loft on the lob wedge here. So if you don't quite get it cleanly, if you connect a little bit high up, that's that one that blades over the back. And if you've used a full swing on it, it is going so far over the back, it's not funny. And I'm sure we've all played that shot, ourselves in the past, and it's really, really depressing when you're fairly close into the green and the next one is miles over the back, but probably in the bunker over the back. So just be a little bit careful using a full swing on a lob wedge. It's okay if you're a good player, and if you are a good player, it's a very handy distance to have because it lands and stops pretty well on the spot. So it's a very handy one to have, but if you're not less than sort of a 10-15 handicapper, I probably would steer clear of a full swing on a lob wedge. Just be careful with that one because there's so much loft on it. So on your grid you might just leave out your full swing on the lob. I'll put it up on the screen and you can see what I'm talking about. It's really good to know what you do, and keep an eye on your technique. Remember that you're going to lean forward and you're going to grip down a little bit on everything less than a full swing. So don't forget that when you go up to the full swing on these 3 clubs, you're setting up centered with your weight and you're gripping up to the top. So don't set up like a short swing when you've got the full swing. So that's important to remember. Don't forget to finish off your follow through. We're going to think of Phil Mickelsons in this case. Half swing back, full follow through, just to really encourage that acceleration through the shot, because there's nothing worse on these ones than decelerating and quitting on it. If you use a half backswing and slow down and stop, the ball's not going to go the distance it should go for a half swing, but you probably mishit it as well. That deceleration brings the club head into the ground too soon. So if you're tending to duff these shots or mishit them a bit, you might be decelerating coming into the ball. All right, so hopefully that's given you a little bit more of a solid understanding of what to do coming into the green around that 40, 50, 60, 70 metre mark. It's going to take the guesswork out of it for you. You're going to know exactly what to do. Check your distance. You'll know exactly what length swing on what club from now on.
So we're getting you in the box or this box. What do you?
In the middle for this.
This is upside down.
Oh. Hit those well.